Rebecca of Pocketful of Posies. Today's project is the first in my Hogwarts House Costume project, and it is my 1940s inspired Hufflepuff. I was inspired by some really delightful artwork by Savannah Alexandra Art, and I will link that down below. And so I had planned on getting started on this project and actually getting this project finished weeks ago, but nature had other intentions. I also wanted to mention that she who must not be named is a trash human, and if you'd like some more information about trans rights and trans charities, I will link them down below. Now, the original artwork, the portrayal is a 1950s style, but I decided to go with 1940s. Now that it's done, I'm excited to share it with you, and so without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go! So we were in scary movie lighting because Hurricane Ida passed through last night. We were on the east side of the storm. We didn't get any damage to our house. We had some limbs down and a tree down in the backyard, but thankfully no damage to our house. And I was planning on working on my my 40s Hufflepuff dress today and tomorrow, but I'm not sure that that's going to be possible. So we have no power, and now I do have this vintage singer, but she's not working quite right yet. I need to take the needle plate off and clean in there and everything, and I don't have very good light right now, so we'll see if that happens. Hey Hercules, if I get it working, then I will try to use that. I mean, mostly it's just, you know, no power. It's just incredibly hot with no air conditioning here, so I won't have any good lighting for video though. That's the thing. So we'll see what happens. Right now I'm going to tape all of my pattern pieces together because that is something I can do without power. So off we go. All right, so I have pinned a mock-up together, and I'm probably going to make this like a cute shirt or something. But one thing that I have noticed, I just cut out the biggest size because that was the one that seemed to go. I'm at my parents', by the way, after Hurricane Ida. And so I've got way too much room here. I cut out the medium-sized chest pieces, but the top looks too big. But I can't take out the same amount all the way down because then it won't fit across my stomach. So I will probably do more of an angle thing. But yeah, I think it's gonna fit. I used my mom's fancy Bernina and was a bit intimidated by it, especially when my first try didn't sew correctly. I called for help. We realized that my sister had been sewing terry material and lots of fluff had accumulated around the bobbin. Got it sorted out and away we went. Okay, so I sewed the mock-up together, and I think it's gonna be good. Now the front has a placket, a button placket, so I don't think that I have too much excess, a little excess at the top. But I'm slightly worried that it's going to be too small on the bottom. I'm not sure. So I need to kind of pin it to see how that will look. Hey Loki. Hey buddy. Hey buddy. Yeah, but all in all, I think the mock-up is pretty good. Finally home and able to cut out the pattern with my black pinstripe wool blend. And it has pockets. Hercules and I had a quick perusal of the instructions and got to work with assembly. The first step was pinning and sewing the fronts to side fronts and the back to side backs. This dress has princess seams and a very nice shape. I made sure to use lots of pins on the curved edges. To the machine! Next, I pinned the pocket pieces to their respective side seams, matching marks. I sewed the pocket pieces on. I also understitched along the pocket opening to help the pockets lay smoothly. The pattern suggested to do that, so I did. My next step was pinning the side seams, matching pockets, and marking to stop sewing before and after the pocket. Alright, so I am making good progress with the 40s dress, and all I have left to do is sew the shoulder seams and put the sleeves in, and then do the front, the button plackets and the buttons. And I don't have a ton of buttons because I have some that I really like that I think will look really pretty. I'll show you. But I only have 8 of them, so I might do buttons, but then in between the buttons do snaps. Let's see if you can even see that. So yeah, they're pretty. They've got a little yellow stone in the middle, so I thought that would be very, very appropriate for a Hufflepuff costume. Yes, I only have 8 of them, and they're kind of small, but I will make do. And I think, like I said, I'm going to do snaps in between the buttons, and then just hemming. So I just finished sewing up the side seams and sewing the pockets. And one of the pockets looks good, and one of the pockets looks like I did something wrong. And I'm not sure, you know, I don't know that it's that big of a deal, and it may just be the way I need to iron the fabric again, and so it could be just, but I've got the pocket sewn on. I just zigzagged the raw edges, and yeah. Shoulder seams next. Shoulder seams were indeed next. I pinned and sewed them. I also trimmed and zigzagged the seam allowances. Onto the button plackets on the center fronts. I turned and pinned them and also ironed them down. Next, I, out of focus, pinned the sleeve seams and then sewed them. As I was thinking about the buttons and how I don't really have enough, I was worried about having snaps on that center front because I was thinking when I sit down, will those snaps pop open? Will they gape? Will the buttons gape? So this fabric, it's a wool blend. It has a little bit of stretch in it. And so I was thinking there's probably enough ease to sew the front closed all the way down and just put the buttons on decoratively. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I pinned it together. I'm still going to sew down the center front on each side so it looks like a button placket, but I am just going to do the buttons decoratively. I put it on with it pinned together and I could get it on fine over my head. So I think that solves the problem of not having enough buttons, but also I can still use the cute buttons. So that is my plan. And that's what I did. After another try on, I realized that it was too long, so I marked 3 inches up around the entire hem and cut it off. I pinned and sewed a narrow hem and I used the machine to sew it. This fabric is pretty forgiving. To finish the neckline, I pinned and sewed bias tape around the neckline. Hercules and I secured the bias tape to the inside of the neckline with a whip stitch. My final construction step was pinning and gathering the sleeves into the arm size. I also finished the sleeves with a narrow hem. I then added the decorative buttons and a big plaid bow, and my 1940s Hufflepuff dress was done. Despite the stress of Hurricane Ida and the delay in getting this project finished, I am so happy with the result. I've really enjoyed working with this pattern, and as a bonus, I can remove the bow and wear this in my Muggle life too. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. If you'd like to support the channel further, I have a Ko-fi account and that is linked down below. Please stay tuned next week for my next project in my Hogwarts House series, and it is going to be my 1920s Ravenclaw. I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!